fellow aviators, VRF Simmer here. Welcome to leg 16 of the World Tour. Today we're flying between the Grand Canyon West Airport, right on the western rim of the Grand Canyon, and we will be navigating our way through the special flight area above the Grand Canyon and toward Grand Canyon National Park Airport. So it should be a really beautiful day. It's my first time using both my honeycomb alpha flight yoke and some rudder pedals together, so also looking forward to that. We'll see how it works out. Let's hop in the airplane, get everything fired up and ready to roll. So first thing, pull out our checklist as we always do and start with our pre-flight inspection in the cockpit. So aircraft documents are checked, get the parking brake set, ignition to off, make sure that's all set. Avionics switches, bus 1 and bus 2 are off. Battery switch on. Fuel quantity indicators are showing full and low fuel enunciators are off. Avionics switch bus 1 and bus 2 on. And we do hear the avionics cooling fan, so avionics switch is off. Sac pressure source valve off. Enunciator panel, we'll test that. All the lights are working today. Fuel selector to both and fuel shutoff valve open. Flaps, we'll select those down. Here that some of the military aircraft are out flying around today. Alright, flaps are down, and let's check the pitot heat now. Should see a bump on the ammeter. There we go, we got it. It's on and checked working, back off, and battery master switch off. Elevator trim, we'll set that to neutral. And pre-flight inspection cockpit complete. Let's do the before starting engine check. We'll go do our exterior walk around. So looks like we have quite a few people. I'll do a turnout to the right, I believe, and then we will. Looks like we'll be departing to the south this evening. So we'll make a left turn out there and depart to the south. Alright, so pre-flight inspection is complete. Seats and belts adjusted and locked. Electrical equipment is off. Avionics bus 1 and bus 2 off. Fuel selector both. Fuel shutoff valve is open. Before starting engine check complete. Alright, for starting the engine, we'll get the throttle open 1/4 of an inch. And I'll get this all set up here. There we go. Throttle open 1/4 of an inch. Mixture to idle cutoff. Propeller area clear. Clear prop. Battery switch on. Beacon. Turn that on. Mixture rich. Auxiliary fuel pump on. 3 to 5 seconds. 2, 3, and then back off. Mixture lean. And feet are on the brakes. Which I guess I can actually do that now that I have some rudder pedals. Let me see how this is going to work here. Oh, this is neat. Yep, feet are on the brakes. And ignition to start. And I think we're going to have to lean the mixture some more because we're pretty high. Let's try that again. There we go. Ignition to start. Mixture is as required at this high altitude. Okay, throttle adjust to 1000 RPM. Get that set up here. There we go. Oil pressure is checked. Alternator, we'll turn that on. Alternator indicators off. Ammeters checked. Avionics switch bus 1 and bus 2, turn those on. Radios are on. Transponder will set to standby. Flaps select up. Heading indicator. Let's see, magnetic compass is showing 180. That's what we're showing on the heading indicator. I'll go ahead and set our runway heading in here should be, let's see, trying to pull up my airport diagram on Navigraph on my electronic flight bag.
Okay. 1 Delta Foxtrot, contact Darling Tower, 119.9er.
It's taking its time here. Okay, so it'll be runway 17, so I'll just set it in 170, it'll be close enough. Okay, heading indicator is set, altimeter. We're showing, should be a airport elevation of 4,817 feet, so...
Aircraft on San Bernardino ground, standby.
About 3,000 on the altimeter, it's set, attitude indicator set. And on the taxi out, we'll do all our pertinent checks. All right.
We're 181 Delta Foxtrot, Darling Tower, runway 20 left, clear to land.
The common traffic advisory frequency here at Grand Canyon West is 122.9. So
number 462 Golf Foxtrot, San Bernardino Tower, runway 24, taxi via Alpha.
All right. So that's all set. We're ready to taxi. This will be my first time using these rudder pedals, so looking forward to it. Here we go. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215 Romeo Alpha taxiing from the general aviation ramp to runway 17. Any traffic in the area, please advise Grand Canyon West. Alright, there's some of the military aircraft flying in formation, so we'll just have to watch out for them. Turn coordinator is working, the heading indicator is working, magnetic compass is working, the brakes have been tested, and taxi and nav lights are on. So once we're in the air, we will be having to, we're going to be heading out to the west to get our climb up to 11,500. I'm going to go ahead and set that in on the altitude selector here. That'll keep us above all the altitude restrictions, which I'll brief as we climb and we're heading out. But basically, we've got to be above 10,000 feet in order to stay out of the restricted airspace over the Grand Canyon. They just don't want people flying low. But I am using SkyVector and the actual FAA aeronautical charts and guidelines, and I believe it's in part 93. They have it all spelled out in text. So for general aviation, you're going to be higher than the commercial air tours that are allowed to fly a little bit lower over the Grand Canyon. So we'll be up pretty high, 11,500 feet for this. That's high for a Cessna 172. It'll be good. Let's just pull over here in the penalty box area. We'll warm up. Give us a good view of the aircraft that are coming in on final too. Which there's some military air activity today, and they are not talking on the radio, so that's okay. Alright, parking brake is set. Let's pull out our checklist and go ahead and get our run up and all of that done. Okay, so on the taxi, I'll just make sure we checked everything. We had the taxi light and all of that checked. We'll turn that back off. We'll get the landing lights and strobes on for our takeoff. Brakes were tested, rudder was checked. Turn coordinator, heading indicator, compass were checked working. Taxi check's complete. Run up check. Parking brake is set. Passenger seat backs are in the most upright position. Seats and belts are secured. Flight controls, let's check those really quickly. Make sure they are free. Incorrect. While we're sitting here, I'm going to check the rudder pedals and just make sure they're working. I just plugged the thing in and sat down, so I have not even tried to calibrate them or anything yet, but they seem to be working. Flight control is free and correct. Flight instruments are set. Fuel quantity indicators are showing full. Mixture is as rich as we want it to be at this high altitude. Fuel selectors on both, and autopilot engage. Flight controls move against autopilot. Disconnected, which is good. Let me just make sure we got our trim reset for takeoff. Autopilot's off. Throttle set to 1,800 RPM. Make sure we don't start moving forward. That's always a threat when you do these run-ups. You do not want to be so focused inside that you don't realize you're creeping toward the runway or off the taxiway. Alright, so throttle's set. Let's do our mag check now. We'll check the left mag, back to both, right mag, back to both. Alright, they're within 50 RPM of each other, no more than 150 RPM drop. Vacuum gauge is in the green, oil pressure, oil temperature in the green, ammeter's looking good, no annunciator lights, so everything's looking perfect there. And then let's check the idle of the engine. Should idle out right around 600 to 650 RPM. Alright, looks like we're idling just above 600, so good. So we'll adjust the throttle back to 1,000 RPM. Run-up check is complete. Before takeoff check, let's get the radios set here. I'm going to go ahead and we'll do a quick briefing of our flight. Let me pull up our sectional chart for us, courtesy of SkyVector. Okay, so we are currently right here at the Grand Canyon West Airport, and this is the Grand Canyon VFR chart. So we're going to follow a heading of approximately 218, 220, somewhere in there, out to intercept the 290 radial toward Peach Springs VOR. So that is 112.0. I'm going to get that set on our nav 1 radio here. And I said that's the 290 radial. So we'll have 290 behind us, and it'll be 130 towards. So that's set now for nav 1. And then I'm also going to put in the, I believe it's the, oops, I don't want to do that. Hold up. I just messed that up. Oh well. There it goes. So that's Peach Springs. And then there's also the Grand Canyon VOR, which is 113.1. I'm going to tune that into nav 2 down here. Let's try to get everything set up while we're on the ground before we're having to focus on flying the plane. Okay. Other thing. This is a unique airspace that we're going to be flying through today. You can see, you can tell it's unique because they have their own chart just for this area. But we're going to be flying through different sectors. So as soon as we get above 8,000 feet, I'm going to go ahead and turn us out over the Grand Canyon. So we'll more than likely enter in the Pierce Ferry sector here. So we need to monitor 121.905 on the COM1 radio. So I'm going to tune that in. 121.95, and we'll switch to that before we turn into the Pierce Ferry sector or any of those sectors over the Grand Canyon. And so what we'll do, we'll track along the south edge, the south rim of the Grand Canyon, and until we get to the VPG-CA, which is an entry to cross over the Grand Canyon, which we'll be doing in the next leg. That's the tuck-up corridor. But from there, we will make our way to the Grand Canyon Airport. It looks like it'll be approximately the 275 radial. So I'm going to set in the 270 radial for when we should be turning into the airport on our nav2 radio here. So when we start seeing that center up, we should be heading in toward the airport. Alright. We go to the random military aircraft that look like transport category. Yeah, Pilot Edge has not gotten the fighters modeled yet on here. So you see 767s flying like fighter jets, which is kind of weird, but whatever. It's cool to have some traffic. All right, so that's our briefing for what we're flying and what we're doing. I'm going to keep us on 122.9, the CTAF, until we turn in to the Fierce Perry sector there. But you can see we have to be above 8,000 in the Diamond Creek. We have to be above 9,000 feet. And then in the Supai sector, it is 10,000 feet. So that's why we're going up to 11,500. That way we don't have to worry about it. And we'll head out and descend down. Grand Canyon National Park Airport's at 6609, so pattern altitude's at 7,700 feet. So yeah, I mean, it's high altitude in this area, but it should be a beautiful flight. We'll have the sun setting behind us. So let's go. Let's fly. I'll transition this out, and before takeoff, radios are set, avionics are set, nav GPS switch is set onto nav. That's where we want it. We'll get our transponder set to ALT. Autopilot is off. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Flaps are 0 degrees. Cabin windows closed and locked. We'll release the parking brake here in just a second. For takeoff, we'll be rotating at 55 knots, climbing out at 70 knots, and we'll turn to a heading of 220 after we are safely off the runway. I don't see any traffic in the area anymore, so I'm going to release the parking brake, and let's get our strobe landing lights on, and we will take the runway. Here we go. If I can find my rudder pedals there. Okay. Excellent. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, departing runway 17. Will be departing the pattern to the west. Any traffic in the area, please advise Grand Canyon West. And it looks like we actually have those. I see some traffic on final. Yeah, we're gonna wait here. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha. We're holding shorter runway 17. Traffic turning base to final. Are you on the frequency? I don't think they're communicating. Alright, we're just going to hold short here. And that right there is why it's always important to check before you take a runway. Because there can always be somebody sneaking around. You might not even know anything about them. I've definitely had that happen in real life a time or two. Even in a controlled field, stuff happens. Trying to get a better view of them. Here they come. We might have been able to sneak out in front of them, but honestly, they're much faster than we are, and it's probably best just to let them land. In case they have to go around, they won't be right up our tail. Looks like we will have a right crosswind according to the windsock. Alright, here they come. Be cool once Pilot Edge gets the fighters modeled in here. I know they have them in X-Plane 11, but not here yet. Okay. If any of you guys or girls know of a fix to that, please let me know. But right now my sim's just showing them as transport category fighters. So that'd be pretty crazy to have a 767 with a full arsenal of weapons. Alright, I'm going to take the runway now. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, taking runway 17 for takeoff. We'll be departing the pattern to the west. Any traffic in the area, please advise Grand Canyon West. Alright, so we have more traffic out there. There's just a lot of traffic here. We're going to have to be very vigilant on this flight. Okay, they're flying over. Alright, runway 17's verified. Here we go. Actually, hold up. There's traffic on the runway. They still haven't cleared. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, lined up and wait. Runway 17 waiting for traffic to clear on the end. And Cessna 215 Romeo Alpha, we're rolling. Runway 17, Grand Canyon West. Excuse me, I don't know what those guys are doing down there. Alright, engine instruments are all on the green. I'm just trying to... I think I need to secure my rudder pedals. Oh no. Yeah, my rudder pedals just slipped. I don't have them mounted onto anything. Just about ran off the runway. Okay, there we are. 55 knots. We're in the air. Keeping my feet off the rudder pedals for now. It's almost a disaster. Alright, so I'm going to make an early turnout here because we do not want to run into problems with these aircraft coming in. Grand Canyon West traffic, Cessna 215 Romeo Alpha departing the pattern to the west, Grand Canyon West. I don't think we'll be able to see him back there, but I had a feeling that those other military aircraft are going to be right on our tail if I didn't keep moving. Alright, so we're going right into the sun. And we have about 6,000 feet to climb. I need to nose this over just a bit more to get to 70 knots. A beautiful country out here. They say Grand Canyon West Airport is a really cool place, right on the rim of the Grand Canyon, so really cool scenery. Great place to start your Grand Canyon adventure from. Had a nice flight in from Las Vegas last night in the evening. It was still, sun was still up here, but just beautiful views over Lake Mead, and it's just a lot of fun flying in this area. Alright, so looks like we do have a highway that if we just follow this highway, it'll actually take us right onto the radial to Peach Springs VOR that we were wanting to climb on. So I'm just going to kind of, like we were saying, we wanted to be on about a 210, 220 heading. And you can see that road is really tracking that well. And it's actually going to take us to the south a bit. If I get this plane trimmed out a little better, I'll try to pull up the sectional chart. Actually, it's the Grand Canyon VFR chart. Show you all what I'm looking at here on my electronic flight bag. Okay, here's what we're looking at. This would be a good way just to verify that this is a good idea. So you can see we have the highway we're following right here, and it's going to break off a little bit to the south. I am going to follow it actually, and once we intercept the Peach Springs 290 radial, we'll just continue our climb till we get to 8,000 feet, and then we'll turn out over the canyon and enjoy the views. So that's what we're looking at. Looks like that highway is a good visual reference to follow, and it'll keep us clear of the restrictive airspace around the canyon until we get high enough. So there's Quartermaster Canyon just off to our left. And I'm actually going to lean the mixture a little more. So 121.905 will be our frequency we'll monitor here in a bit. It looks like that road's turned into a dirt road. Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right one. I think this is the road we want to follow. Just gotta be careful we don't wander into airspace we don't want to be in. Okay, I see the road now going off the nose at about the 11 o'clock direction. Just winding along the ridge lines there. Yeah, any of you watching, have any of you all actually done a real life flight over the Grand Canyon? This is my first time simulator, or I've never done it in real life, only in an airline jet, but I was definitely had a good time looking at some of the special regulations and rules they have in place to keep aircraft from flying too low in the canyon and disturbing the national park. Looks like we hit a pretty good downdraft there. It's getting a little turbulent up here at 7,700 feet. Yep, there's the other side of it. We're moving up now. Yeah, I really appreciate how you can use the sectional charts and see everything on this new flight sim with the satellite imagery that's here. It's really neat. And back down that direction, back to the west, that's where we came from yesterday. It was really neat to see the terrain change as you come up. I think it's the Grand Wash Cliffs over there to the west, and it's really a dramatic climb when coming up from Lake Mead. Just trying to make sure I keep this road in view. Everything's looking good so far. Okay, so we're coming up on 8,000 feet, so I should be able to turn us to the east and over the Grand Canyon any minute now. So we shouldn't have to go all the way down to Peach Springs, which is a good thing. Save us a little bit of time in our exploration of the Grand Canyon. Now let's take a look at our RPM. Looks like I could maybe lean the mixture just a bit more. We'll continue our climb, of course, up to... Oh, actually, we're at 9,000 feet. We'll continue our climb up to 11,500. So we're clearly above the floor. So we'll go ahead and start making our turn to the east. And I'm going to switch our frequency on COM1 over to 121.95, which we're supposed to monitor in this area. All right. So we'll head out over the Grand Canyon now. There's the Grand Canyon West Airport back north of us. Let's see, I'm actually going to set a radial of the Peach Springs VOR for us to track a little later on, just so we make sure we know where we are in relation to the airspace. Because you can see, looking out over the Grand Canyon, it is really hard to tell exactly where you are. It's just like a huge maze out there. What a place. Alright, so we're going to be following the 030, well, we're going to be looking for the 030 radial off of Peach Springs. That's well, that'll be our reference point that we are looking at as our flight plan line on SkyVector before we took off. So when we cross that line, we'll have a good reference as to where we are. What an impressive canyon, though. I'm going to get our outside air temperature showing here. 34 outside. I was going to turn the pitot heat on just in case. I'm using the Rex weather engine in Flight Sim today. So sometimes clouds will appear rapidly around you, depending on the METARs at the nearest airport. So definitely don't want to end up suddenly in a cloud and below freezing. It could happen. Alright, we're doing pretty well. We have just about 1,000 more feet to climb before we'll be at our cruise altitude. And once we get up there, I think I'm going to try to get my rudder pedals reset on the floor. I need to find a way to have them secured, because they just completely slid out from me during takeoff. Which could have been catastrophic. I had to just switch over to my joystick really quickly and override. Wow, that's a really cool drop off. And this is a really cool time of day to be flying through here too. You can see the shadows and how they're just really providing a lot of contrast down there in the canyon. And they're just going to continue to adjust as the sun sets on us as we continue our flight eastward toward the Grand Canyon National Park Airport. And there's the Colorado River. Great, because that is the big landmark to kind of follow through the Grand Canyon. So good to see that. think I'm just going to kind of follow the Colorado River. That'll be probably one of the best ways for us to maintain a visual reference point as to where we are in the canyon. Alright, and we're at our cruise altitude now of 11,500 feet. So I'm going to lower the nose. I'm going to leave the throttle at climb power, let us accelerate, and continue to trim the nose down as we accelerate. Grand Canyon traffic Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, transitioning the Pierce Ferry sector, 11,500 eastbound, Grand Canyon. Alright, so we're heading pretty much southeast still on the Colorado River, so we know when it starts to really turn east, we'll be getting closer. When it turns north, that's when we'll be in the Diamond Creek sector. And we'll throttle us back just a bit for cruise settings. Here we go. Keep it under 2,500 RPM. Wow, what a view we have the Grand Canyon this evening. It's chilly, 3 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'm gonna get some heat on. We would really start freezing. It's just incredible how large this canyon is. You could really get down in there and get lost. Get off in some of these side areas. Because there are some other rivers other than the Colorado, easy to get off on them and just be completely lost. Alright, looks like we still have not had the... Whoa, that was a big bounce of turbulence there. Looks like we still have not intercepted that 030 radial off of Peach Springs, which that's okay. Wow. Just a little bit turbulent up here. Wow. And that's not me doing those sharp banks. That's just the turbulence up here at 11,500 feet. Alright, looks like the course is coming alive now off of Peach Springs, the 030 radial. And here I'll show you all what we're looking at there on the chart. Now you can see it's right where this line's coming in. So we're right down here near Diamond Creek, and so we'll just continue to follow the canyon up and over will be my thing, and then we'll just turn south back towards this 030 radial. But I'm gonna head back here, get a clear view of the where we're going again. So we're right on track. And that's the sun up flight free zone up to our north, and no flights below 8,000 feet MSL, which we're well above that. I'll have to start. Yeah, we just keep getting rocked up here. Just always want to keep the Colorado River off our left wing on this flight, because a little further along, the no flight zone goes up to over 14,000 feet, so we're not going to reach that in this airplane. For sure. there goes the Colorado River on its northward track. So we'll continue to follow on this eastern edge of it. And I'm actually going to punch in a waypoint in our GPS for our tracking purposes. It's the Victor Papa Golf Charlie Alpha waypoint. So let's plug that in. Actually, hold up. So I said it was Victor. Victor Papa Golf. Whoops. Victor Papa Golf Charlie Alpha. Getting to do a little multitasking here, trying to fly in this turbulence and tune in the GPS. Alright, Charlie Alpha. Let's see if I can find the Charlie. There's the Charlie. Well, I had the Charlie. There it is. And Alpha. It's not letting me do it. No, it's not gonna let me. Okay, never mind. They're still working out a lot of the kinks here in the flight sim. So we'll just use radials off of the VORs. And like we said, we'll try to we'll need to turn back to the east here at some point, or we'll get into the Toro Weep Shinumo flight free zone, which goes up to 14,500 feet, and we're not going to get above that. We'd get in a lot of trouble. So I need to figure out which radial we need to look for off of the Grand Canyon VOR to turn back onto that 030 radial off of Peach Springs and keep us in the clear. Beautiful views of the canyon for now. So I think about the 260 radial off of the Grand Canyon VOR, we'll make our turn in, make sure we're tracking the 030 radial off of Peach Springs. and that'll keep us free of that no flight zone. And we need to go to 127.05 now for our monitoring. Still getting some pretty decent turbulence up here. There, Ivan. You can see it's a really beautiful area all around here. The sun going down. Alright. So I've got to go ahead and start making our way back to the 030 radial off of Peach Springs so we can stay out of the Toro Weep Shinumo flight free zone. So I'll start tracking us back that direction. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Ivan, I've been blown away by this simulator so far, and there's still, I mean, this is not the final product really. They're still working on it, and it's just going to keep on getting better. So I've been very impressed with it so far. Alright, you can see the Colorado River down there. Give us another quick view outside the aircraft. Yeah, you can see just stunning scenery. Yes, Ivan, I am flying manually right now. And we're maintaining 11,500 feet just to stay out of the, I'm trying to follow the actual flight rules that they have in effect over the Grand Canyon. So just a little added challenge. And there's a little bit of turbulence up here today at 11,500. Alright, 030 radial's coming back in. So we're about to be at the intersection of the 260 radial off of the Grand Canyon VOR and the 030 radial off of Peach Springs. So let's pull out our sectional chart and we can get a quick glimpse at where that is exactly. So I'll pull that up for us on the screen. So this purple or pink line here is the 030 radial off of Peach Springs. So the 260 radial is approximately right in this area, so we're somewhere right in here. So I think I might go ahead and start turning us maybe a little more toward the airport, just to keep us out of the flight free zones. Oh yeah, the mountains are fantastic. Yeah, this Flight Sim 2020 is definitely a wonderful sim for VFR flying right now. If you're looking for the visuals, this is the sim to get. The transport category aircraft, they aren't really there where they need to be yet, but I mean, give it a few months, we're going to have some great aircraft. I think this is going to be the best flight sim out there in a few months. Alright, so now we're starting to get a little more restrictive with the airspace. They really don't want us anywhere up toward the canyon up there. I'm guessing that's where the national park is with all the visitors, so they really don't like to have a lot of air traffic, which I completely understand. So, alright, see you, Ivan. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, I'm going to put direct course to put a direct course to Grand Canyon. Actually, I should be able just to here, do this. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I need to get rid of this screen. Oh well. Maybe it'll let me. That is where I want to go direct to. There we go. Enter. Activate. And for some reason, it's showing COM setup. I do not want COM setup. Okay, I'll just have that, and maybe it will. Get us back up to 11,500. I'm not really sure what's going on with this menu here. So we're still 38.1 nautical miles out from the Grand Canyon National Park Airport. And pretty soon we'll still be monitoring 127.05. ATIS for Grand Canyon National Park is going to be 124.3. And since Pilot Edge does not yet let you simulate COM2, we'll have to have it up on 1.
On initial contact, you have information, Victor.
We'll go ahead and listen to it.
Grand Canyon National Park Airport. 8 is information, Victor. 2354 Zulu. Wind 230 at 11. Gust 16. Visibility 10. Sky condition, clear. Temperature 19 or dew point 1. Altimeter 3013. Arriving and departing runway 21. Visual approaches in use. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact, you have information, sir.
Alright. There we go. Victor. So we are definitely in the Diamond Creek sector. it's so difficult to know exactly where you are based on these the sectional chart. This canyon is just so large and such a maze. Alright, so while we're cruising along here, I'm going to I'll pull out our airport diagram for Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Let's take a look at that. So they said runway 21 is being used right now. So that's what we're planning to land on. Like we said, the airport elevation is at 6,609 feet. And we will have, we'll tune a tower 119.0. I'll contact them when we're 10 miles to the west. Make sure we get in radio contact with them. There's a special note here. It says heavy volume of air taxi flights in vicinity of Grand Canyon and condors in vicinity of airport. And runway 21 is a right-hand traffic pattern. So more than likely we'll be entering a right downwind for runway 21. And after we land, we have plenty of runway. After we land, left-hand turn off probably at Foxtrot, Echo or Foxtrot, and then a left turn on Papa to the general aviation parking area. Looks like on 21 we will have a PAPI on the right side. It is at a 4-degree angle, which means it's going to be a little steeper than what we're normally used to with a 3-degree glide path. And I pulled out an ILS chart just for, there it is, so we can get some terrain information. Highest obstacle is terrain at 7,327 feet. Almost 10 miles to the southeast of the field. It shouldn't be an issue. We'll be at our pattern altitude of 7,700 feet. And if we need to go around, go miss, we'll just make right-hand traffic back around. Runway 21, follow tower's instructions if needed due to traffic. And that should be it. We should have a pretty good plan there for the airport and our approach into the Grand Canyon National Park. We're definitely at golden hour now. The altimeter was reported at 3013 at the Grand Canyon National Park Airport, so I'm going to go ahead and set that in of our local altimeter setting. So we definitely need to descend. And I'm going to go ahead and tune in the Grand Canyon VOR in nav1 now, 113.1. So it looks like we're at about the 080 radial. Perfect. Alright, we'll turn on the autopilot. We'll check that out for a bit. So we're going to turn autopilot on. We need altitude, hold, heading mode. And it should be at 11,500 feet. There it goes. We'll get the rudder pedals resecured for landing here. We had a little bit of excitement on the way in. So I'm just going to have to find a good way to get these rudder pedals secured moving forward. And I really wish I knew how to get this comm setup page to turn off. If any of you know, please let me know. It's just stuck on this page. There we go. Now we're good. Yeah, we're in the area of the Grand Canyon now, just to our north, where it is highly restrictive with available airspace for low-level flying. Here's the chart so we can see, and where we're looking there with our wing, it's up in this area, the Toro Weep Shinomo flight free zone. You can see no flights below 14,500 MSL, and also the Bright Angel flight free zone is just north of the airport, and no flights below 14,500. So the Supai sector where we are right now, we have to stay at 10,000 feet or above unless we're within 3 nautical miles of the airport. So that's the that's where we are right now. That's what we're doing. And we're still showing ourselves at 15.2 miles out from Grand Canyon National Park Airport. And we'll contact tower on 119.0. Go ahead and get that tuned in at 10 miles out. And haven't heard anybody on frequency. I don't believe anybody's really flying in this area on Pilot Edge this evening, so that's all right. And current conditions at the airport. We're showing winds are still 240, 11 gusts and 16, 10 miles clear, 19 Celsius, 3013 on the altimeters. And it's forecast to be windy all night long, and a high level of broken clouds rolling in later this evening at 20,000 feet. So it should be great weather for us. And just for the sake of how this would be done in real life, I'm just going to be monitoring 12705 here on 2. And we'll contact tower. Whoops, 05. And we'll contact tower on 1.
Takeoff, 90273 Tango. November 122 Yankee, looks like you're turning to join Victor 23, so your clearance was to fly heading 175 and expect radar vectors to join, so you're not at the MEA yet or above the minimum vectoring altitude, so I can't give you a vector or turn on course. So due to the fact that you've turned on course or on your own, I'm unable to give you a passing grade for the I2 rating.
Completely understand and misunderstood what I was supposed to do, so thank you for that. What should I do to correct this?
22 Yankee, at this point, just go ahead and remain, you can join Victor 23 and climb and maintain 5,000.
We'll do on Victor 23, climb and maintain 5,000, thank you, 1 Yankee.
Alright, this will be a beautiful landing. Yeah. Yeah, I will contact tower here in just a second. I'm just pulling up my chart on my EFB, make sure I have everything prepared. I still had my sectional chart out. Okay. There we go. That's Victor. Canyon Tower, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, 7 miles to the west to land with Victor.
We're 215 Romeo Alpha, Canyon Tower, enter right traffic, runway 21.
Enter right traffic, runway 21, Cessna 215 Romeo Alpha. Alright. So there we go. It'll be right traffic for runway 21.
SoCal Sky 739 Whiskey Romeo, 4 miles north of bracket, was requested by flowing to Van Nuys. Seven 39 Whiskey Romeo, SoCal approach squawk 3574.
Yeah, I'm going to turn off the autopilot just so I can have a little bit better control of what's going on here. Alright, so I'm going to wait till we're 3 miles.
729 Whiskey Romeo, radar contact, Ontario altimeter.
So we can get down to 10,000 feet at this point.
Copy 9
So I'll start a very slow descent, and then when we get to 3 miles out, we're going to descend down to pattern altitude, which will be 7,700 feet. So I'm going to set that in our altitude alert.
Tower, Cessna 4733, Bravo, 6 miles to the north, inbound full stop for...
And we're landing runway 21.
North Vegas.
4733 Bravo, North Las Vegas Tower, proceed straight in, runway 12 right, report 2 miles.
Straight in 12 right, we'll report 2 miles. 33 Bravo.
And I think we'll be good to descend now. We'll be at 3 miles by the time we get there, so I'm going to pull the throttle back a little bit more for us. And here we go.
Sirius 55 November Tango, descend at pilot's discretion, maintain 1000, Las Vegas altimeter 29 under 2.
Okay, Maria Tower, Skyhawk 90273 Tango, beam the numbers.
Number 73 Tango, runway 26, clear for the option.
Runway 26, clear for the option, 73 Tango.
Alright, I'm going to turn right downwind. And winds were 230. So it'll be we'll have a tailwind here. Slight quartering from the left, so I'll angle this Kravis just a bit. Not that much, but I'm going to start slowing us down a little bit. Okay, coming up on 500 feet to level off.
Human Navy 823, we're back.
Navy 823, roger.
And flaps 1. Canyon Tower, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, right downwind runway 21.
One clear for correction runway 21, clear to land wind 200 at 16.
Clear to land runway 21, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha. Alright, so we're clear to land now, so we'll continue our descent. I'm going to get full flaps out, so we can just keep this.
South Outpost, Scott 79 Whiskey Romeo, like to divert to San Gabriel.
79 Whiskey Romeo, roger, contact El Monte Tower 121.2.
1212, now Whiskey Romeo. San Gabriel Tower, Scott 79 Whiskey Romeo, 10 miles to the north, full stop.
79 Whiskey Romeo, El Monte Tower, roger, enter left base, runway 19er, clear to land.
Left base, runway 19, now Whiskey Romeo.
Alright, we're on glide path, on the glide slope now.
North Vegas Tower 4733 Bravo, 2 miles.
23 Bravo, runway 12 right, clear to land.
Oh, 12 right, clear to land, 4733 Bravo.
And I'm on the tower 9, Whiskey Romeo, requesting an overhead brake approach.
Number 9 Whiskey Romeo, roger, report 1 mile initial runway 19er.
Roger, report 1 mile, 19er, 9 Whiskey Romeo.
Sirius 5 November Tango, contact Las Vegas approach 125.9er.
Alright. Okay.
Navy 823, contact Los Angeles Center
I gotta fix
126.35.
these rudder pedals. Yeah, they're not working.
12635, Navy 823.
I'll get them fixed later. I'm just
Vegas
gonna
approach
use
Sirius
the joystick.
551 1700, sending 1000 information.
55 November Tango, Las Vegas approach, roger. I think Whiskey's current now, expect visual approach runway 12 right.
Expect the visual 12 right, Sirius 5 November Tango.
North Vegas Tower 4733 Bravo is clear of 12 right at Hotel short of Bravo.
Alright, we'll stop here. Pilot Edge, they do not want you moving.
333 Bravo, roger, taxi via Alpha, correction via Bravo and Alpha to the ramp for maintenance frequency. Have a good day.
Bravo Alpha to the ramp, maintenance frequency.
Flaps
833
up.
Bravo.
Navy 823 Los Angeles Center, 29 Palms, altimeter 2995.
I'm on the tower, Scott 79 Whiskey Romeo, 1 mile, runway 19.
November 9 Whiskey Romeo, roger, report right break.
We'll vault right back now, Whiskey Romeo.
Canyon Tower, Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, clear 21, taxi to the parking.
5 Romeo Alpha, taxi via Papa and maintenance frequency, get it.
Taxi to Papa to parking with you. Cessna 215, Romeo Alpha, good day. Alright, here we go. Papa to parking with them.
And 9 Whiskey Romeo braking to the right.
9 Whiskey Romeo, wind 190 at 9, runway 19, clear to land.
Clear land, roll 109 Whiskey Romeo.
Sirius 5 November Tango, flying 020, vectors visual approach, descend and maintain 7,000.
020, 7000, Sirius 5 November Tango.
Camarillo Towers, Skyhawk 90273 Tango midfield.
November 73 Tango, runway 26, cleared for the option.
Runway 26 cleared for the option, 73 Tango.
Our transponder on standby.
John Wayne, November 334 Papa Lima. Ready to copy IFR to Palomar
Right.
for the I-2 with November.
334 Papa Lima, John Wayne clearance, cleared to Palomar Airport. After departure, fly heading 175. Expect radar vectors to join Victor 25, and then as filed. Maintain 5,000, expect 7,000 in 5 minutes. Departure frequency 128.1, squawk 7337.
Cleared to the Palomar Airport. Fly heading 175. Radar vectors to Victor 25, then is filed.
Alright, we'll stop us right here.
Climb and maintain 5,000, 7,000, 5 minutes after
Turn
departure.
off avionics.
Right.
Get the lights off. And we'll do the, let me see here. Mags, do the mag check. Engine idle is check is good. Engine's off. Mixture idle cut off. Beacon off. Get the fuel selector valve to the left. The fuel shutoff valve is closed, and battery master and alternator are coming off. Alright, let's run through our checklist really quickly. Make sure we got everything. We'll start with the after landing check. So landing light off, taxi lights off, strobes off, elevator trim. We need to get that reset to neutral. Let me just roll that down. Transponders off. For our parking check, we have the parking brake set, transponders off, avionics switches are off. Engine idle was checked, mag cutoff test was completed, mixtures idle cut off. Securing check, the ignition's off, landing lights off, taxi lights off, nav lights off, alternator off, battery switch off, fuel selector to the left. Securing check complete. Alright, welcome to the Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Thank you for flying along with me, VREF Simmer. It's been a real pleasure having you ride along. And we have another beautiful scenic flight ready to go for our next leg as we head up to Colorado City. We'll be flying through one of the VFR corridors that takes us south to north over the Grand Canyon. And once again, plan to use Pilot Edge ATC, so be sure to tune in for that one. Join the Facebook page, subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the latest. Until then, VREF Simmer signing off. I'll see you in the air soon.